I'll start with a quote, and it was John F. Kennedy in 1961 said, "A community pays for its roads whether it builds them or not." And I don't think John F. Kennedy was actually talking about roads. I think he was talking about you build your communities, and if you fail to make the investment, unless you pay for it in dollars, then you pay for it in lost opportunities. Discussions we've had tonight are about our collective aspirations for the sort of society, the community that we're building. This is a community that in many cases is born of aspiration. People move into this community because they have high hopes for the future. And sometimes the place that they occupy at the moment is not the place that they want it to be in the future, nor should it be. Nor should you ever be entirely comfortable or satisfied with the services that a community that is growing provides. We have enormous challenges in this community. We have to deal with the issues of growth. We have to deal with issues associated with employment being proximate to our homes. But we also have to deal with a recognition that pride is an important thing in our communities. This is a great place. It will be a greater place because we have these sort of debates. Let's continue the dialogue and let's continue the agitation about the need to improve our performance up until now.
Once we have the Sneeds Road interchange built, we'll probably have to have almost an orbital approach of buses coming from the Williams Landing train station through to Hoppers Crossing and then snaking their way over to Werribee. It makes a lot of sense to connect those stations up with people wanting to get to them. Certainly the state and federal governments have committed $5.3 million into a study to go through all of the aspects that need to be explored with that particular project, and it's something that we are very supportive of because it means that we're going to be taking trucks away from a lot of the roads in the inner western suburbs and putting them out close to where there's major arterial roads feeding the rest of the state. We already have a commitment of $1.5 billion from an opposition leader. We have a Prime Minister who's offering us money for the metro tunnels. We'll take money from anyone as the Premier said. So if we can get some money from Julia tomorrow for the metro tunnels and we get Tony Abbott elected in September this year, we'll take both lots of money. We're not really fussy about that sort of thing because the important thing will be that we are getting the public transport and the transport options that we so desperately need.
Hi, I'm Linda Houghton. I'm from the Houghton Strategic Solutions, small business in Point Cook. I have two questions for both roads branded. The first one is I actually live in Hoppers Crossing and work in the Point Cook Town Centre. If there's an accident on the freeway, it could take me an hour to get to Point Cook because I'm stuck behind the people that are actually trying to get onto the freeway. I know there's a plan for that area of Old Geelong and Forsyth Road. I'd like to know what that is. So that's question number one. The second one is related to Palms Road. We all know there's been a lot of work going on in Palms Road and it's obviously opened up a new avenue. Now, we also appreciate Williams Landing Station and we appreciate new bus routes. It does appear that every single new bus that is now being put on, which is an awful lot, which is a great thing, now runs along Palms Road. Palms Road is a single carriageway. I believe it's council controlled. Is there any plan to actually help with that traffic load that's going to dramatically increase whilst there's already thousands and thousands of cars trying to get along that road?
Okay, first of all, the issue of when there's an accident on the freeway, certainly that is a major problem, and East-West Link will assist with that problem, providing us with another access point to the city from the north and being able to get to the eastern suburbs if you really want to go there, but it's not worth it, ladies and gentlemen. It's much better to come this way. But in any case, that is one plan to try and fix that problem of being reliant on a single arterial road to traverse our massive metropolis that we now have. The other thing is that I feel that pain. I live in Tarneit, so there was actually an incident where I think it was the same crash it would have been. I took 40 minutes to drive from my house in Tarneit up near Leeks Road and to Werribee Police Station. That's normally around about 10 minutes on a bad day. 40 minutes is just ridiculous. So it just shows our absolute reliance on that particular stretch of road going through our municipality. If we can have a second access point, it would be great. And certainly into the future, and I'm not saying 2020 it will start, but having the outer metropolitan ring road going as well will be good. I suspect in 2020 we might also have the current Western Ring Road completed. Don't quote me on that one. But it's like painting the Sydney Harbour Bridge. You start at one end and starting to keep going. No, it's not. But in any case, also with regard to Palmer's Road and the buses, I'm already in discussions with Public Transport Victoria about how we might be able to get some sort of bus lane organised as soon as possible, so that the buses have got a priority lane to be able to get to and from the train station. I understand big roads are a little bit resistant to that, but they obviously haven't seen me in full flight. But in any case, we need to look at the public transport options in and around Point Cook and in and around the new estates. Certainly with extra buses means that each bus can technically take 30 cars off the road if people utilise them, and certainly I hope they will, because if we're all reliant on driving our cars around, we're going to run out of space very quickly on our roads, and that's why we put the public transport into the areas we do. Certainly the 444, the bus that services my estate, when it first started it was quite empty. Nowadays you can barely get on.
So thank you for having me on this panel. As a new councillor, it is always a pleasure to be given an opportunity so early in the piece to share my vision. Wyndham I see in 2020 will be more diverse, will be more livable, and will be a more vibrant place to live and work. By 2020, we will add another 70,000 people to the city. So from about 180,000 people now, by 2020, we will be a city of 40 million people. Now, the interesting fact in that is about 25% of all residents of this city come from a non-English speaking background or from a culturally linguistically diverse community. So by 2020, out of the 70,000, 25,000 people will come from those backgrounds. But we also have to look at different ways and innovative ways to deliver education, to deliver health, to deliver economic. We need to bolster economic activity, environment safety, and we have to address other socio-economic factors. New residents and citizens will bring their own cultures into the city. I did. I learned a lot. I'm sure other people are going to do the same. There will be a more diverse group of activities, be it Diwali or Eid or the Mooncake Festival. There will be huge potential to be known as a city of festivals. Our satisfaction rating will be higher. I hope that by then we'll have happier residents. Their residents will be proud to call Wyndham home. We'll do so by improving and providing better choices and opportunities in learning, in working, in engaging and having a voice.
The other thing that I see happening over the next little while is the shift, or what needs to happen, perhaps I should phrase, is the shift in people's expectations. We've all heard the term the mansions, which are the adult story, 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, multiple living areas, home, all the rest of it. And a lot of our young families in particular are aspiring to that sort of home for their family. But I think over time we will see that aspiration will diminish, our size will reduce. And so the mansions of this world perhaps will be a thing of the past, and that also will help affordability. So we will come back to having young families starting out with their home being just 2 bedrooms, with perhaps the proviso to the opportunity to maybe add on down the track, much the same as how I grew up. You had a 3-bedroom home and then you had another child who could have a bedroom on. We're seeing that in the States at the moment, and that's another way of making things affordable for young families. But at the same time, we need to, I guess, they need to have a change in their aspiration.
First question or comment?
What's been taken for government to really tap into
even with a national broadband network, even though internet connectivity is an issue in this part of the world, and certainly the take-up rate in Point Cook is quite good, we have parts of our community where unfortunately the cost will be prohibitive. They will not be able to access the high-speed internet that you and I will be able to enjoy because we can afford it. So that's why libraries are going to be important. They're going to be the hub from which people can access the new NBN in whatever form it takes, depending on who's running the show after September. So it's going to be a case of, for the high-speed internet access and to be able to get full potential out of the NBN, our libraries are going to be a major nexus for getting that information out. And certainly if you look at libraries across the western suburbs, you've got the Craigieburn Library at the moment. It actually offers cable TV. You can book out a room to watch cable TV. You book it, they program in that you're going to be watching Sky News, or you're going to be watching National Geographic, and that's what you watch. And that provides the people in the community who don't have access to cable TV for whatever reason to actually be able to utilise that form of information.